Bruce Willis's family is sharing a big update on the actor's health, almost a year after revealing a devastating diagnosis that forced the Die Hard star to retire. The family says they have a more specific diagnosis, a form of dementia.
Welcome to the party, pal!
As an actor, Bruce Willis could seemingly do it all, playing everything from the tough-talking hero in Die Hard
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
to the sensitive psychologist in The Sixth Sense.
How often do you see them?
But now his family says he's taking on a new role, saying if he could, Willis would want to bring global attention to others dealing with his debilitating disease. In a statement, they say the 67-year-old has been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. It's a disorder affecting between 50 and 60,000 people in the U.S., likely to affect one's personality, behavior, language, and movement. There are no approved treatments, and there is no cure.
It's the Family Feud.
Bruce Willis has graced our screens for decades, gaining fame on television in the late 80s.
I'll give you 3 seconds to shut this bomb down. Then I'm gonna make you shoot me.
Before becoming one of the most successful and bankable movie stars of the 90s and beyond. According to a report last year by the LA Times, it was that bankability that prompted Willis's production company to keep the actor on set, even after his earlier aphasia diagnosis. But Willis's attorney said that's not true, telling the paper, "My client continued working because he wanted to work and was able to do so." For now, Willis's family says it's a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis. They're asking for compassion, understanding, and respect, which they say, quote, will enable us to help Bruce live as full a life as possible. It was this post made by Emma Hemming-Williams about her husband's diagnosis that caught the attention of one woman. WFMY News 2's Julie Luck shares that woman's story.
W-Night 330 posted, "My husband had this horrible disease. You are in my thoughts and prayers. I lost him 10 months ago at age 57.
I commend them for coming forward with it, as they have the resources a lot of people don't, and they can step back and quietly endure this. And instead, she has, made it known that she wants the world to know about it. And it's a game changer for all of us.
Wendy Knight is from Arizona. Her husband, Rob Knight, was diagnosed with frontotemporal degeneration, or FTD, in 2019.
I think I ever home. Oh, no. I'm a rockin' man.
That was Rob in 2020 at age 55.
He was such a hands-on dad and great husband and coach, and he was in the mortgage business, very friendly, and just, knocked it out of the park on every level. And then this is just to watch the deterioration, devastating. I mean, beyond words,
FTD is known as the cruelest disease you've probably never heard of. Knight hopes Bruce Willis's diagnosis will help raise awareness across the globe.
People need to realize that this is a hideous disease, and the families and even caretakers that are involved, it's devastating. And again, it's just, there's no words to put anything, you can't label this disease because it's just so cruel.
Wendy lost her husband last year.
We donated his brain to Brain Support Network. He had no frontal lobe. Like, you could see in the video how deteriorated it was. So imagine that 3 years later. I mean, his brain was tiny in the front and actually on the temporal lobes as well. So he couldn't even talk at the end. He just made noises for about a year. But of course, COVID was a setback. So we used to go all the time and sing with him. And then when we couldn't see him, then he deteriorated as he didn't have us with him to sing.
Now her heart is with Bruce Willis and his family.
We didn't know what was going on with my husband for years, probably a good 10 years. And so that our journey was really, really rough, as they all are. So my heart just goes out, to the Moores and the Willises for what they're enduring and what they're about to endure, because it gets ugly. My takeaway from all of this with Bruce Willis is that people look at this disease and try and educate themselves. Be aware it's out there. It's tackling the young, male, female. It is prevalent, and we need to make it known so we can find a treatment and ultimately a cure.
Wendy Knight is a part of the Association for FTD, which Emma Hemming-Willis is also working with in light of her husband's diagnosis. You can learn more about FTD on the AFTD.org.